So just coming to settle, maybe taking a long, slow, deep breath in through the nose. And as you do, just stretching the body up. And as you breathe out, allowing the belly and chest to relax, the shoulder blades to drop down the back. Maybe just keeping a bit of straightness in the spine, if that's okay for your body. But importantly, just making sure you're also comfortable. And then just bring your attention to your breath. Coming aware of the belly rising on the in-breath and dropping on the out-breath. If the mind wanders, just keep coming back to the movement of the belly. We're just resting our full attention on the belly as it rises on the in-breath and drops on the out-breath. Becoming aware of the movement of the chest, the ribs expanding, the sternum lifting on the in-breath and contracting on the out-breath. Being curious about the movement of the shoulders. Maybe they rise as you breathe in and drop as you breathe out. And then just bring your full attention up to the nose, just finding that one spot inside the nose, at the tip of the nose, the top of the lip, where you can feel the movement of the breath. And then just bring your full attention here. When the mind wanders, just coming back to that one spot, really experiencing the sensation of the air moving. And extending your awareness to the whole breath. As the cool air enters the nose and the belly rises, chest expands, maybe the shoulders lift. As you breathe out and the warm air leaves, the belly dropping, chest contracting, shoulders returning to the original position. The breath like a wave, and our awareness just like surfing that wave. Not having to regulate or control the breath, just inviting it in, letting it go. And each time the mind wanders, just coming back to the breath. Checking in as your mind wandered, it has just coming back to that awareness of the breath. Then bring your awareness particularly to the out breath. Maybe a sense of relaxation, awareness dropping into the body. With each out breath, just becoming aware of the contact of the body on the chair, maybe the feet on the floor. Noticing how it feels to be supported by the ground, to be supported by gravity. We can just allow the body to be. We're letting go particular awareness on breath and body. We're just going to start exploring this concept of freedom. And although our practice is going to be very much about internal freedom, just by starting to think about, consider something that you find limiting, you find limits your sense of freedom. Could be something physical, something psychological, something within relationships. Just bringing something to mind. And then we're just going to use our imagination. Maybe just seeing if you can imagine what it would feel like if this limitation was to go. If it's a physical limitation, what it would feel like not to have that limitation. Maybe really using your imagination. It might be that you are then able to fly, or dance, or doing something. Maybe it's something psychological, how you would actually feel if that limitation was lifted. Relationships, how that they would be if there wasn't this limitation. Maybe just letting your imagination roam free, taking it as far as feels right. Noticing how it feels to be free. How does it feel within the body? You have this sense of freedom. There's a sensation maybe in the chest or the belly. Maybe it's hard to bring to mind that sense of freedom when there's something that's really limiting you. Maybe just having that intention. So asking yourself, what would it feel like? Maybe just gently exploring it. And then bringing to mind maybe another limitation. Seeing what it's like again. It could be in body, in mind, in relationships, a connection. Something that limits you, you feel restricts your freedom. And again, then just imagining what would it be like if there wasn't this restriction. You were free in body and mind, relationships. Just noticing how it would feel. Really engaging in what they would be like. Maybe in movement. Maybe just a sense of lightness or happiness and connection. Sensing again what it feels like in the body and in the mind when you are having this experience, not being limited, a sense of freedom. And then maybe just imagining that you could absorb that sense of freedom. You could bring it inwards. It could become part of you. Letting go then. Any imaginations, the sensing, just coming back to the breath. Initially having your full focus on the breath, noticing each stage of the breath. The in-breath, maybe there's a gap between the in and the out-breath, the out-breath. There may be a gap between the out and the in. And then just starting to soften your touch on the breath. Starting to open up, becoming aware of sensations, experiences, becoming aware of your thoughts and emotions. Just that gentle touch on the breath, just to help anchor you to the present. So we're just resting our mind, letting all experiences just pass like clouds across the sky. If you find your mind gets caught up in thinking, then just using the breath, just come back to the present. It's that very gentle touch on the breath. Maybe that awareness is like a feather, just so gentle, just enough to allow us to anchor to the present. When we rest here, can be aware how thoughts just arise, they display, they go again. How we don't get caught up in thinking, they don't hold so much weight. They lose their control of us. Thoughts are just thoughts. Just allowing the thoughts to pass, even if they keep coming back again and again. Not trying to push them away or get rid of them, just allowing them to be in the space of the mind. And resting the mind, allowing thoughts to pass like clouds across the sky. Maybe there's this sense of freedom from being caught up in thoughts, maybe worries, rumination, all the things that our minds tend to do. See how it feels. If we can just let thoughts go. If it's happening outside, you can have that sense of freedom. Maybe noticing how it feels if we can let go of being constantly caught up in our thinking about our emotions, ruminating about emotions. Maybe just accepting experiences as they are, it's just another experience. It doesn't have to define us. Just an experience as a human we go through. Other people have similar experiences. And letting physical sensations come and go, not dwelling on any particular sensation, stiffness, pain. Again, the sensations, letting them pass as clouds across the sky, like thoughts. Just one part of our experience. Just resting our mind, letting the thoughts, emotions, physical sensations just arise, display and go. Not getting caught up in them, not getting caught up in thinking, dwelling within them. And maybe there's a sense of freedom, not being caught up in the prisons that we create for ourselves. When we constantly dwell on particular experiences. Knowing that there are some people who, however adverse their circumstances are, can still have that sense of inner freedom. Maybe just touching in that sense of freedom that you may have experienced when imagining releasing some external limitation. Seeing if you can bring that sense of freedom, those senses, to releasing from some of the internal turmoil. Maybe bringing to mind somebody that you know, maybe aware of rather than know personally, or who has lived, who has that sense of freedom, where they've been incarcerated for years, been harmed, pain, but still radiate a sense of inner peace, a sense of freedom. Bring them to mind with maybe a wish that you could also be like them, that you could develop these skills, this way of being. Coming back to that sense of freedom you felt when we did the practice earlier, that imagined sense that you could let go of all the limitations. And then just letting go of any imagining, sensing, and just coming back to the breath, resting the mind again, allowing the body to rest here, allowing the mind to rest here. Experiences just passing through. Resting the intention on the breath if the mind wanders. As we come towards the end of this practice, maybe just wishing or creating an intention that we might be able to develop a sense of inner freedom. Thinking about why we might do that. What would motivate us to find that inner freedom? How that would benefit us, but also how it would benefit those around us. And maybe also offering a wish to others in difficult circumstances who could also benefit from finding a sense of this inner freedom, whatever else is going on for them. And then, as we close, just seeing if you can touch into that sense of freedom.